Fellas, Issey here. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the top 10 designer releases of 2019. Normally I do this in the last day of the year, but tomorrow I've got something even better planned, i.e. the top most influential fragrances of the last decade. And I'm currently running a poll because I've done a part 1 of that video. You can check it out and leave your comments there. Based on your comments, I'll pick 5 to 6, even more, most influential fragrances of the last decade, which will be aired tomorrow. So check that video out. Now, 2019, I think, in my opinion, was a better year as compared to 2018 as far as designer fragrances are concerned. Better releases, more different sort of fragrances, better performance, more creativity in general. So let's get started. So first, I'm going to show you 2 fragrances which did not impress me at all. And then I'll give you 2 honorable mentions and we'll get into the list. So the 2 fragrances that didn't impress me at all, number 1 was Davidoff Run Wild. Now this fragrance is neither wild nor impressive. This fragrance, the marketing of this fragrance, have a look. I mean, it tries to show a green bottle, but in essence, this is a sweet, creamy, lavender-based, ambroxan-based fragrance, which is bizarre. It didn't resonate with me at all. I normally don't do negative reviews, but this one is the most badly marketed fragrance of 2019. That's my opinion anyways. The other one is Joop Homme Absolu. Now this one, Joop is a house which does fun fragrances, youthful, fun. This one is neither youthful nor is it fun. It's trying to do a Comme des Garçons, I believe. It's got some weird notes like ylang-ylang, pepper, again, ambroxan. It's just weird. This fragrance did not impress me at all. So these 2 are the really bad releases of 2019 in my opinion. Yeah, but test it out, see if it works in your skin. Now 2 honorable mentions. Number 1 is a Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. This one is pretty decent, It's an iris based freshie, but what it did was something that I've already smelled somewhere. It doesn't leave an impression on me, but it's a nice release. People have appreciated it. It's a nice, fresh people pleaser. Good fragrance. I enjoyed it, but since I'm doing only 10, so I'm leaving this one out as an honorable mention. But it's a decent fragrance. Enjoyed it. I'll do a full review soon. When it becomes a little bit warm, I'll review this. It's a nice fragrance. The other one is from a house which has been impressing me a lot. It's Gucci, and it's not Mémoire d'une Odeur. It is Gucci Guilty Cologne. Really like it, but since I'm doing 10 only, I'm not including this in the main list, but I liked it so much that I got a bottle. It starts very weird. It has this stale, oily smell in the beginning, but it dries down beautifully, and I really enjoyed it. It's centered around cypress. And it really is a very light scent. It's kind of an ambient scent, very pleasant, very calm, very serene. The green color really is perfect for this fragrance. Really well done, but not a lot of love in the community for this. This spring, I'm going to review this because it's got one of my favorite notes, heliotrope with cypress. Very nice, gentle fragrance. If you like gentle fragrances, inoffensive fragrances, but a fragrance with some quality and some personality, this is a very good scent. But outside the list. Now let's get into the list. So the first one, it's a Hugo Boss, and it's not the bottled, it's Hugo Boss reversed. This one really surprised me. It impressed me and it surprised me. Why? Because when I first smelled it, the first thing that came to my mind is that it reminded me of Roja Elysium Cologne. Very surprised, because when you first spray a fragrance, you always compare it to your database, right? That's what happened to me. The first thing that came to mind was Elysium Cologne. So this is basically an ambroxan-based fragrance, but it's got notes of grapefruit and bergamot, and the substance of the fragrance is a spicy thyme and vetiver. Thyme and vetiver are common with Elysium. I really like the fragrance, but it's got really poor performance. 4 hours tops, but that's the norm with Hugo Boss fragrances, unfortunately. So it's starting the list at the bottom, but it's a very nice fragrance, especially if you're looking for a gym fragrance or you live in a hot country and you have to reapply your fragrances every 4 or 5 hours. This is not a bad shout. It smells really nice. And as I said, it reminded me of Elysium, which is a 275 pound fragrance. Good offering from Hugo Boss. Next on my list is a very popular fragrance, but it's very bottom of the list. It's right at the bottom of the list because of one reason only. I've smelt it somewhere else. It is Montblanc Explorer. Everybody's loved it. I think it's a good fragrance. It's basically very heavy on ambroxan and bergamot. It tries to do the Aventus thing. It's very fresh, quite a personable fragrance, very easy, very safe. Compliment Ghana, absolutely, but it doesn't have the performance. And what it reminded me of when I first tested it was this L'Aventure by Al Haramain. This also has a lot of ambroxan. And the first thing that crossed my mind was L'Aventure by Al Haramain when I tried Explorer. So I let it be. But it's quite a nice release. It's quite a well-liked fragrance, and I agree with that. But the only reason it's at the bottom of the list is it's very familiar, and soon it will hit the discounters and you should be able to afford it. But there's so many Aventus inspired fragrances that I don't know whether there's any place for any other. But I know Aventus is the king, and there will be more and more clones down the years. Definitely, it'll not stop with Montblanc Explorer, but it's a good release. Number 8 in the list is a fragrance which is quite creative, but it's very low in the list because it does the same thing. It's a very sweet fragrance. It's Pure Excess Night. Now this one uses myrrh, and myrrh is one of my favorite notes, but it couples myrrh with a salty caramel note, and then it combines it with vanilla. So it comes off very sweet and slightly juvenile. Now my tastes are not the tastes of an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old. So if you're a 20-year-old chap, you'll really like this because it's got that vibe of hot and cold in the same bottle. It's as if you're outside in the winter day, but you're wearing a big coat, and underneath you've got a very vanilla-centric fragrance, seeping through your overcoat. That's the kind of impression. It's very sweet, it's very snuggly, it's very cute. And that's the trend which has been there in 2018 as well. So nothing revolutionary here. So if you find it discounted and you're in the game of dating, you will like this. I think it has that attractive quality. So Excess Night has that pull value and the clubbing value. It also projects a lot. So it's a strong fragrance. I liked it, but it's nothing special. So it's down at number 8. But a very good fragrance if you're in the dating game and you're a young chap. Next is a fragrance that surprised me because it's got some bizarre notes in it, and it's a very, very nice fragrance, and it's very cheap as well. It's Haloween Man X. Now Haloween Man X, when I sampled it, it's very boozy. It's got a note of whiskey with some smoky leather and some coffee. Now I don't get the prominent coffee after the first 15-20 minutes. But then it changed its quality. It changed its quality because of the salty caramel note and the whiskey note. It's quite smoky and boozy. And that's why I think, again, like Pure Excess, if you are in the dating game and if you're a young chap, 20, 22-year-old, you shall really pull with this fragrance because this has that quality where women go wild. It's boozy, it's creamy, it's vanilla tonka. I think there's a note of tonka as well. And it's got this beautiful, alluring vanilla, which women find irresistible in cold weather. It's one of those fragrances that you bring out when you're going out or you're on a dating scene. That's sort of very snuggly as well with terrific performance. This thing has got superb projection. So it's quite a loud attention seeker. And obviously, it's very low in my list. But as I said, if you're a young guy in the dating game, do give this one a shot. It's available for very little money. So I'm talking about £35 to £40 for 100 ml. It's not a bad fragrance if you're in the dating game and if you like sweet fragrances. So that's number 7 gone, Haloween Man. Number 6. Number 6 is a very strong freshie, and it's one of the best offerings in the freshie category. If you're looking for a very strong, long-lasting office scent, it's fabulous. I've reviewed it. It's called Chrome Aqua by Azzaro. Now, this fragrance uses a note basically which I find quite attractive. It's an aquatic basil, minty basil with grapefruit. Now, those sort of fragrances are a dime a dozen. There are many. The best thing about this fragrance is its balmy quality. It's very balmy and resinous, along with being an aquatic. So it's like as if you're standing in a shower and you used oily soap, and your skin is oily and fresh at the same time. It's got this balmy quality. Very, very well made, very cheap, and it's ideal for office. If you're looking for a good, long-lasting, fresh, clean office scent, this is a very good offering. I really like it because of its performance. It's got tremendous performance. So I've done a full review. You can check it out. Now, we're into the top 5, and I'll start the top 5 with a fragrance which really captivated my imagination. It really made me travel to a different place when I was reviewing it. It's an ambient scent. It's a house that gets very little talk, and it is Bottega Veneta Illusione. It really is a fragrance that creates an illusion. It's centered around bitter orange. It's very fresh and woody to start with, but it starts to develop a foodie-like smell. Imagine, I'll tell you the exact experience I had when I was reviewing it. This took me to Tuscany, and I've done a full review. And you know, when you go to these Italian rustic old towns, you smell this afternoon time, you smell this bakery smell, you know, the smell of pizza being baked somewhere, and you're traveling, it's dry air, it's sunny, it's warm, and it's very alluring. So it's got this note of cedar, vetiver, bitter orange. It's just a lovely ambient scent, very alluring, very attractive, very confident, but doesn't scream and shout. It's very different sort of a fragrance, very unique in terms of what it brings to the table. I really enjoyed it. And if you like ambient scents, if you like classy, quiet scents, if you like something that makes people draw closer to you, you should really try Illusione. Nowadays, it's available for about £40 for 100 ml, I believe. And that's a good price for Illusione. You won't get it even cheaper. You know, Bottega Veneta fragrances are sort of high-end designers, so you won't get it any cheaper. If you can get it for 40, 45, and if you like ambient, quiet scents, do try it. Illusione is very impressive. The only reason it's in number 5 is because of its performance. As I said, it's slightly quieter scent. So, next on the list is another fresh, woody scent, which is very impressive in terms of performance. It is Bvlgari Man in Black Wood Neroli. It's got nothing to do with the Man in Black DNA. It's got no woods, no tobacco, no leather, no vanilla. It's basically based around neroli and very strong woody notes. It lasts a long time. It smells amazing. I've done a full review. You can check it out. The best thing about this fragrance is it reminds me of Neroli Portofino when you first smell it. But then it dries down to a very strong neroli woody scent. I think there's vetiver as well, if my memory serves me right. But this is one of those scents, just like Aqua. If you live in a hot country and if you're looking for a very good office scent or even daytime scent, you know, which is easy to wear, easy to carry, it pleases people. These two fragrances are really good releases of 2019. I won't say they are groundbreaking, but what I like about these two fragrances is value for money. Tremendous performance, smells really good, very well made. Alberto Morillas, by the way. So really like it. That's why I put it at number 4. It's a seriously good contender there. Number 4. Number 3. Number 3 is a flanker. And when I first smelt it, the moment I smelt it, it reminded me of the previous flanker, but it's a really well-made, very classy and polished scent. It's Armani Code Absolu. Now, this doesn't use anything groundbreaking. It's using a formula which is being used a lot nowadays. Tonka, vanilla, leather. 3 components together, and they try to create this alluring, smart, posh, trendy fragrance. This is posh, this is trendy, this is very, very well made, high quality scent. So that's why it's at number 3. It's got that quality of, when you are wearing a nice shirt and you're going to a nice club or a bar, or even you're sitting in a hot hotel lobby, evening time. That's the kind of image it creates in my head. It's not very different to the Code Profumo, I think it was called. It's not very different. I think That's why I didn't bother getting a bottle, because it didn't bring anything unusual to the table. It's just a more smokier, a little bit more mysterious, and a little bit more classy, even posher version of the previous flanker. So nothing special, but the quality of the fragrance, the performance, and the image and impression it creates is terrific. I really enjoyed it. I think I'll get a bottle, but when the prices come down, when it hits the discounter, that's when I'll get a bottle. It's something that I like to have in my collection when I'm going out, especially, you know, lukewarm weather or cold weather. I want to go out, I want to bring out Code Absolu. It's a really well-made scent, high quality stuff, really good. Next, this one surprised me. Now, it's one of those fragrances which is alluring as well as extremely well made. It's a long name, Nuit Issey by Miyake, Pulse of the Night. Now this one is a special scent. Again, it uses the same combination, vanilla, tonka, leather. I believe leather here along with olibanum. So it's a bit smoky and oily. Yeah, this one has got my attention. Now the prices are coming down, so I'm going to get a bottle. This one reminded me, it's not in scent but in character, of La Nuit de l'Homme. Now La Nuit de l'Homme, you know, you can beat La Nuit de l'Homme on performance, but the actual scent and the result of wearing that scent, everybody's aware of it. Women absolutely go crazy. It really lifts you up and you feel you're wearing something trendy and classy. Feel very confident. Pulse of the Night is exactly the same kind of a scent with a different scent profile. It makes you feel you are trendy, you're fashionable, you're confident, you can hold a conversation, you're worth talking to, you know. You can't be ignored. That's the kind of scent. This has more performance than La Nuit. It doesn't smell like La Nuit de l'Homme. It has better longevity. It has this tobacco nuance with leather, which really gives me that impression that it's for a person who likes to go out in the evening, clubbing, and is a ladies' man, really. So there's a very night vibe to it. Very aptly named, very well-made fragrance. I think I'm going to go for a full bottle soon, and when I do, I'll review it, because it's a very well-made fragrance, just like you know, Code Absolu. Code Absolu is a very fine scent. Really enjoyed it. Now, time for number one. Number one is a fragrance which is a flanker to a fragrance I didn't like at all. It is Dior Sauvage Parfum. In my opinion, this is the best release of 2019, and it's also a very high quality fragrance as compared to Dior Sauvage EDT. This is a very high quality fragrance. I really can't get enough of this. When Sauvage came out, when I tested it, it had that steely, metallic, alien-like scent which I couldn't identify myself with. But it was a groundbreaking fragrance. A lot of people loved it, still love it. It was a fragrance that people just couldn't get enough of. I was in the minority. I didn't like it at all. What they've done here is they've removed the grapefruit and they've replaced the grapefruit with a beautiful orange, and they've taken a fantastic high quality olibanum, and coupled that olibanum with one of my most favorite notes, fantastic sandalwood. And they've called it Sri Lankan sandalwood, which I'm not very aware of. But what that creates is a very expensive smelling, very sexy, beautiful, confident, uber masculine fragrance. You know, it's just a very, very stylish fragrance, very trendy, extremely well made, very expensive smelling. It's just one of those fragrances that the moment I smelt it, the dry down, I'm not talking about the opening. Opening is okay. It reminds me of Sauvage. But the dry down, I just can't get enough of the dry down. I really, really am impressed with the beauty of this scent. It's just fantastic, really. So this is the pick for me, as far as I'm concerned, for 2019 when it comes to designer releases. Absolutely well made. Beautiful fragrance. So, hope you like the video, fellas. And do give it a like if you can. Take care. Bye-bye.